Frequently asked questions about AbilityNet's accessibility testing services.
My name is Joe Chidzick. I am a Principal Accessibility Consultant with AbilityNet. Accessibility testing is the process of discovering any barriers that exist for disabled people in a given product or services and then making appropriate recommendations to address those barriers. Why is accessibility testing important? When we talk about products, services, and accessibility, it is crucial to remember the most important part, which is people. We carry out accessibility testing so that disabled people are given equitable access to products and services that many non-disabled people will take for granted. Accessibility is a complex and technical topic, but it should always be human first. It's always important to remember the human. That is what we are ultimately striving to do, to make things and products more accessible for people. So people are the most important part of accessibility testing and why we carry out accessibility testing. So I can go briefly through the main accessibility testing services that AbilityNet offers. We carry out design reviews. So before a website or mobile app gets developed, we can review and annotate any proposed designs for actual and potential accessibility issues. By identifying issues at this earlier stage, it's easier and more cost effective to fix them. That's where we will get involved towards the beginning of the development lifecycle. As the lifecycle progresses, we can get involved with accessibility audits. Once a website or mobile app has been developed, we can evaluate it against the current accessibility standards, in this case WCAG 2.2. Essentially what we do is we work through a checklist, we evaluate each of those checks as either passing or failing for the given product. Any failures will indicate potential accessibility challenges which should be resolved. And finally, user research is something that happens towards the end of the product lifecycle. So once something has been developed and been through an accessibility audit, we will often carry out user research. And this is the best way of finding out if a website or mobile app is accessible to disabled people. Is an accessibility audit a legal requirement? This will depend what sector you work in. For instance, in the UK, we have the Public Sector Bodies Accessibility Regulation Act, PSBAR, and this requires that public sector organisations, such as local councils and authorities, conform and comply with the appropriate accessibility standards. In those cases, the surefire way of telling if you comply with those standards is through an accessibility audit. So you could argue that an accessibility audit is a legal requirement in the public sector in the UK. This will apply in other various sectors as well, both in the UK and across Europe, depending on what legislation is around. So there are circumstances when an accessibility audit is a legal requirement.
Find out more at abilitynet.org.uk/accessibility-testing.